What's up, sports world? What's going on? This Big Q from the Sports Coma. We're breaking down exciting night of fights all across the world, man. And as usual, the Sports Coma is huge boxing fans. We cover the sport religiously. And of course, today's show, we're going to be bringing in our boxing expert, Eddy "Too Mean" Johnson, to help us break down three fantastic fights, man. We're going to start.
What's good?
Everything happening good in the boxing world. The first one we're going to talk about is the Mikey Garcia fight. Of course, the Mikey Garcia fight with Robert Easter Jr. And of course, we previewed this fight, and both me and Too Mean came out and said, man, that Mikey Garcia is he's gonna win this fight. He's gonna do what he needs to do and handle business. Mikey Garcia lived up to the billing, man. He came out and handled business against Robert Easter Jr., bro.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Powerful for the guy, man. He's too determined to it. This guy, he wants to face the best because he wouldn't be recognized as pound for pound, and that's how he fought too. Like, he on a mission, man. Mikey Garcia on the mission.
No doubt about it, man. He had a fighter that he was talking to before the fight actually started. During the media, he was making mention of his plans to move up to fight people like Errol Spence, who welcomes the opportunity. And of course, off air, me and you was talking about the disrespect of that, to not even mention Bud Crawford, who is a guy that's lurking in the division. But it's the reason why them guys won't mention him, because I won't say nobody's scared of nobody, but if anybody got fear in their heart, they don't want to face that man. But stick it to some of the fights that happened with Robert Easter Jr., Eddy. We said that, man. He had the tools to do. He had everything that it took. He had the length. He had the size. He had the tools, the physical tools to beat Mikey Garcia, but mentally couldn't put it all together, man. Like you said, he lacked the power to be able to stun Mikey and make Mikey respect him to stay away. He didn't. To my analysis is he didn't do enough he didn't throw enough punches and bunches to keep Garcia off of him, even though he didn't respect his power. He didn't consistently work enough behind the jab to keep Garcia in line. His head movement wasn't there, and he didn't punish the body, man. He didn't go to the body nearly enough. In some intervals of the fight, he was way too cautious. It was just, I don't know if the spotlight was too big for him, or it's the fact that the spotlight was too big, and he was fighting against in my opinion, a dude that's probably going to go down as one of the best when it's all said and done. You're looking at a tremendous, legendary fighter in Mikey Garcia. That Robert Easter Jr. couldn't step up to the plate and match that greatness.
Oh yeah, most definitely. He's definitely gonna be in the Boxing Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? But I think like major factors in that fight with Robert Easter, he wasn't doing no faking. You know what I'm saying? He kept coming with the same routine, and Mikey Garcia was able to pick up on it. And then, you know what I'm saying, get into a zone, you know what I'm saying, because he's doing the same pattern. You're like, okay, I got it figured out. Instead of him like faking with the jab sometimes and then throwing the straight right, you know what I'm saying, he wasn't doing that. And like you said, he wasn't effective enough to the body, because Mikey Garcia was really soft down there. I'm like, I don't see why he didn't capitalize off of that. And he didn't have enough power to really sting Mikey Garcia. And he wasn't counter-punching to make to kind of discourage Mikey Garcia a little bit. When he started releasing them bombs, you know what I'm saying, if he was able to counter off her, he would have been, you know what I'm saying, he would have been hesitant to keep throwing them bombs like he was. You know what I'm saying? Because there wasn't nothing coming back really like that.
Right.
A few times he did it, he didn't do it enough. I think it was the experience factor. Robert Easter ain't really been in no big fights like that. So I think the experience that was a key factor in that fight too.
Oh, no doubt. That's well said, to me, and I think that's real good commentary, man, because I agree wholeheartedly, man. Robert Easter Jr., I've watched this, I followed him, and the last two fights were very unimpressive, man. And like I said, the thing, he has the tools. He's a tall guy who has terrific reach, making that jab more effective fighting, because he can keep a lot of fighters away from him. As far as I'm concerned with Robert Easter Jr., is that he's tall, but he doesn't use his length to his advantage. He crouches down to smaller fighters' level. That's a major mistake to me. He should stand tall and fight tall, like most good tall fighters do. He don't do that. The other thing is he don't have enough. His head movement is pretty bad. He doesn't move his head well enough, and he takes way too much punishment. And he has a lot of difficulty against smaller fighters, because he's fighting at their level. And I don't know, it's because of the trainer not teaching him to use his length. He's not following ring orders. I don't know what it is, but it was something missing from him the last two fights that didn't show me that he was ready for Mikey Garcia. They talk a mean game, but at the end of the day, you can't beat a guy of that caliber fighting like that.
He's missing that Tommy Hearns right hand. If he had that, he would be good. He's a good fighter, but the ice on the cake would be a good right hand, left hook.
Right.
I'm talking about enough to sting the hell out of anybody.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the thing. You're right, though, Eddie. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it came to. Robert Easton's good, but good don't cut it when you're fighting great fighters. Bottom line, you have to step up your level. And to me, he fought better than he did the last two fights, but that's not good enough, man. If you're taking on champions, if you fight another champion, you can't put on performance like that against Mike Speck to get anything. No counter punching, no head movement, no body punching. I mean, I'm kind of upset about it because, it just shows an incomplete fighter with major flaws in his game. You need to get back to the gym and work on that, Robert Easter Jr. If you really want to be a great champion, you had a belt and you were a good champion, but nobody was going to remember you for one belt. If you really want to be great, you got to become a better counter puncher. You got to work on your power. You got to work on your head movement. And more importantly, you got to learn to punch the body and move better. I mean, he got all that limb. Stop crouching. I don't understand why the trainer not teaching him that. Stop crouching. You taller than all these fighters, and you're crouching to fight at their level. That's a major mistake. You use your length and your reach to your advantage, and you're going to win every time. You could have kept Mikey away from you because Mikey wanted to get close to you to work the body to get up under you. All he had to do was use his jab. And stop throwing one punch, jab, not feigning. But where was the multiple punches? Where were the two? Where were the 3-punch? Where were the 4-punch? Where were the 5-punch combinations to set Garcia's mind right so that he don't try to work his way up under there? Where was all that at? That was totally absent in his game. So I'm not trying to be too hard on him, but he's a good boxer, but good don't cut it when you're fighting guys like Garcia. You gotta step your game up, bro.
Yeah, he's still young. He still got a lot to learn, man. I think he's gonna learn a lot from that fight if he sits back and watch and correct his mistakes, man. I think he'll come back a more better fighter. Fight, he's gonna learn something different, man. You gotta go back to the drawing board and correct his mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Move forward, man.
Well, that was the fight, man. Robert Easter Jr. loses a unanimous decision to Mikey Garcia. In it, of course, Garcia knocked him down a couple of times in this fight. He was totally encroaching upon Robert Easton, didn't respect his power. He pretty much did what he wanted to do, moved in, and was not afraid at all of Robert Easton Jr. And Easter Jr. said it during the press conference that he feels disrespected, that Mikey Garcia was looking over him and talking to fighting Errol Spence. Well, it didn't make much of a difference. You didn't take that disrespectful behavior and use it as fuel to pummel Mikey Garcia, even though he had the natural attributes to do it. Well, that's the difference. Robert Easter loses belt. Mikey Garcia elevates more in status. He unifies. Of course, he's a terrific fighter, legendary boxing Hall of Fame fighter. Back to the drawing board for Robert Easter Jr. Now, let's go and talk about the champ Garcia and what is potentially the upcoming fight for him. Of course, there's a lot of talk saying that Mikey Garcia is looking at elevating to the next weight class to fight Errol Spence, Eddie, who is a fighter known to be a body puncher, among other things. And Mikey Moore's midsection, his body is a lot soft, even though I know that his brother and his team is going to start working on getting his body ready for body punching because they're too intelligent not to do that. So what's your thinking on the potential fight of Mikey Garcia and Errol Spence?
I think Mikey gonna bite off a little more than what he can chew, man. You know what I'm saying? Errol Spence gonna demolish his ass. You know what I'm saying? He's too big. He punches too hard. He got enough skill that wear him out. Like I say, if his body's looking soft like that, he's definitely gonna get wore out. You know what I'm saying? If he get close, he's gonna have to get close because Errol Spence he got a long reach too.
Right.
You gonna have to come in. You come in, and that's like a mistake on to fight Errol Spence way. So I'm quite sure him and his brother and his father, they gonna come up with a brilliant game plan to fight somebody like Errol Spence. So we have to see what's gonna happen with that.
Well, let's say.
I'm still pissed off, man. I'm I'm pissed off like they ain't mentioned my boy Terrence Bud Crawford, man. Like he ain't relevant. Shit. I like, yo, that pissed me off, man.
I'm gonna tell you this too, man. Bud Crawford in the welterweight division is like Bloody Mary in the mirror. You don't say their name. If you say his name too many times, he's gonna come for you. So I know that's what they're saying. We ain't gonna say that name, but ultimately we know that Errol Spence is gonna lose his belt. Ultimately, Keith Thurman's gonna lose his belt. All those guys are gonna lose their belt to legendary greatness, which Bud Crawford is, and he's in the welterweight division. So sooner or later, he's gonna occupy and take all those belts. It's only a matter of time before they can't run anymore. We all know that's going on. But that'll do it for our breakdown on the Mikey Garcia versus Robert Easter Jr. fight that happened in the Los Angeles Staples Center. A lot of people there for Mikey Garcia. We picked it. We called it. It was a no-brainer to me and Eddie to take Mikey Garcia because of his experience. And Robert Easter Jr. hadn't showed me a damn thing the last 2 or 3 fights, if anything. So go back to the drawing board and work on your game, my man. You still got a lot of boxing in you. And Mikey Garcia is continuing to look for other great fights. Big credit for him to want to fight better or bigger fighters. I have to respect that when a lot of these chumps will run to fight weaker people so they can keep belts and try to make money. So big ups for Mikey Garcia for even having that gumption to be able to do that. But anyway, that'll do it for today's show dealing with Mikey Garcia and Robert Easter Jr. I'd like to thank my co-host, Eddie Too Mean Johnson, for chiming in on today's podcast. And as always, check out us, the Sports Coma boxing breakdowns consecutively on our channel on YouTube. So, Eddie, thank you for joining us today, my brother. And from me and Fast Eddie, peace. What up, sports world? It's Big Q from the Sports Coma, representing the PRO Media Network, letting you know that the PRO Media Network is in a push now on a mission to gain 10,000 subs. That's right, 10K on the subs. And to help promote to get 10,000, the PRO Media Network is not only going to be doing the shows that you love so much about the Saints, the Pelicans, or LSU, but also it'll expand out the bigger stories about the NFL, the NBA, and even include new content dealing with anime, gaming, and even movie reviews in an attempt to expand out its platform. So if you're a fan of the PRO Media Network, the Sports Coma, or the Pelican Post-Game Report, and other podcasts made by the PRO Media Network, please join us in our efforts in our mission to get 10,000 subs. Share us with fans, share us with friends, share us with family members, and help the PRO Media Network gain 10,000 subs. Peace.